Hi, it's Jane. I'm telling you, it's been a wild day. I don't know if I'm going to get done everything I need to get done. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels lately. I don't know what's going on. I think that's more mentally than anything because I'm busy all day long. I mean, it's not like I sit down and do nothing. So, I don't know. And this was yesterday's water. Call it Crystal Lake. Never been to Crystal Lake. Don't know what it is. Whether it really looks black or not. Tastes good. It's ocean water with cherry pomegranate. It's decent. I don't mind it. I like it. It's good flavor. And you do not taste the cherry. For those of you that don't like cherry. So anyway, I am continuing to work on the third block that I started. So let me work that out with you. Managed to get another tote of fabric washed up. That takes quite a bit of time. Now, I don't iron it when I go to put it on the shelves. Basically, I just fold it coming out of the dryer. And then I would iron it when I was actually using it. Mainly because that ironing, I'm going to use some spray starch to starch the fabric so that when I cut it, there's a reason you do that. It actually helps with the cutting, keeping the fabric nice and straight and without a whole lot of issues. So generally that's what I try to do when I'm cutting fabric. And I'm basically just right now cutting a lot of fabrics for some different craft items I plan to take to the Christian Women's Luncheon. I am one of the vendors. Sometimes there's a lot of good response, and other times it's kind of lackluster. I don't want to say these women are cheap, but they're kind of cheap. They don't want to spend a whole lot of money, but they like having the craft show. And we've tried to get across to them, if they're not purchasing items at the craft show, we may not be able to get craft vendors to come. So, I don't know. It's a difficult thing to do, to deal with sometimes. But, you know, and I always try to make sure that my items are less than $10. I may have a couple of items that are higher priced and they can look at. They could certainly, and I usually have a sheet so that, not a sheet, but my business cards, if they'd like to contact me at some later date so that they could ask about, an item or have one made specifically for them. And when people contact me through Etsy, I try to make sure that I'm on top of that and answer back kind of quickly. But sometimes a lot of people don't understand. When you make something, it's not always easy to deconstruct it to make it fit the way they want it, which I try to explain to them. What happens then is if I can find the same fabric, I could make you another object in what you would like the interior fabric to be, but I'm not going to deconstruct the bags. It just does damage to the bags. It weakens the fabric. It does all kinds of things. So Sometimes that's hard for folks to understand. You know, it's not quite like when you're crocheting yarn that you can keep ripping it out. Well, you can, but every time you do that, you're also stretching out that yarn a little bit more when you're ripping it out. So, you know, if you're looking at an object that you want a little bit of elasticity in, which acrylic yarn does stretch a little bit, if you keep ripping it out over and over to restart it, you're going to lose some of that elasticity. So that's kind of hard to see. And some things going on around here on the internet. We have Cinnamon Stitch's son, Lucas, that was hit by a car. Go follow her channel. He is doing well, but I'm sure it's mentally it might be a little bit of a struggle every once in a while. And of course, with his special needs, being bored to death is not a good thing, especially since we know he likes to take things apart. So, Lucas, I'm praying that you have a quick and speedy healing time from his broken arm and, you know, broken wrist and all the other kind of things that are going on with him. So, but thank God he wasn't more severely injured. I mean, and thank God there were neighbors that stepped up and helped him, you know? Could have laid there for hours. You know, it's kind of like when I was riding my bike, put the cat in the basket. Cat had been in the basket 100 times and never jumped out. Riding down the road, the cat jumped out. And when I hit the asphalt, I blacked out, was unconscious for quite a few minutes. Neighbor happened to be out watering the lawn. Saw it happen, pulled my bicycle off to the side of the road, and he carried me home to my house, and I woke up on the couch. Of course, my mother called the doctor, and Dr. Ad was pretty good, and, you know, he came out to the house, did a house call on his lunch break to come see me. But if neighbors hadn't found me, I might have laid there for who knows how long or whatever. So, good for people that do step up and help in that kind of situation. Let's see, what are some of the other news we have? Glenda's mother, Irma, passed away. I was saddened to hear that. I know I've had a couple of times where I've gotten to meet with her and her mom, and her mom is just a special lady. So my heart, my condolences go out to you, Glenda. It's never easy, but she did a tribute to her mom. So I hope you go give that a look-see and send her your well wishes and whatnot. Let's see, news in the world today. Let's see. I watched a video of a young man that he likes to take a telescope. He can take pictures, and not only that, but record. And he goes off to different where he's at, where he can see the different areas on the moon. And he's filming live, and that is showing the flag that is on the moon, the American flag. So this nonsense about it didn't happen, it did happen. So, yeah. So that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. The only other thing, sorry about that, we're trying to schedule a time and date to meet together to help sort through some of the donations that have already come in for Operation Christmas Child. Who knew scheduling time to do this was going to be such a hassle? And part of it is the woman that is running that organizing and getting that taken care of right now is she works. So she would have to be able to do it after 5. And some of the days she had suggested do not work because the church has events and things that are happening, which she did not realize that use that room where the items are being stored that we would need to organize. So scheduling time is absolutely almost horrendous this year. She's not able to come during the day. Some of the rest of us are able to come during daylight hours. So I don't know what we'll come up with, but we'll get it sorted out. So there's that. Oh, goodness. But let's see, the other thing that's in the news, there was a tsunami that hit Alaska. Quite a few houses and possibly people have been swept out to sea. It is absolutely horrendous. I think I saw something on one of the news outlets maybe 5 hours ago. They posted something about it. So that's not getting out there very well, and that's something that's horrendous, scary for those people. A lot of the houses were just swept right off their foundations. So I think I read one account where it was the entire village. And many of these are out of the way that you would need one of the, where are those boats that fly in with the supplies that can land on the water? Them boats. Or land on ice during the winter. Some of those are hard to reach, that you have to go in that way or by dog sled. So might be a difficult recovery for them. And of course, with government shutdown, supposedly FEMA won't be able to do anything, but that's not quite absolutely true. FEMA usually has a surplus set aside for emergencies like this, like when the government shut down. But then again, who knows? Maybe Trump can use some funds from elsewhere that he has the discretion to divert somewhere else to do that for this. But we know the good old Americans are going to step up to the plate like they did for North Carolina. when the Biden administration did absolutely squat, did nothing. So, there's that. In other news, we have people in Portland that apparently are stripping naked to protest in what they're calling nude die-in at the ICE facilities there. I had someone post, I wonder what that's going to look like when ICE drags them off. Road burn, So, I don't know. And then I saw someone that had posted a little blurb about that in a picture. And it's not a picture where you can actually see their naked parts. But it was just a picture of people laying around all over the streets, blocking traffic in that manner. And next to it said illegals offered to deport themselves after that. So, I don't know. It's kind of funny. Sometimes we have to laugh at those kind of things. I do love watching the different things about the 3-Eye Atlas. That, I think Jeanette Nettie had sent me a link to a YouTube channel called The Angry Astronaut, and I've never watched his channel. The one that I have always watched in the past has been the Dobsonian Power, or Dobsonian Power. Just because I love watching those kind of things, seeing what's going on. Who knows? But I still want to know what you guys think about remote viewers. If you have any thoughts on that, what they do, and if they're accurate. I don't know if you can hear, but the heater has come on. Got the temperature set for 70 today. When I woke up, it was set at 68, and I could just feel the chill in the air. So I turned that up for a little bit, and then I turn it off, and I let it get cooler until I just can't tolerate it. And one of the good things about, crocheting afghans many times is the afghan will help keep you warm while you're crocheting. And knitting, if you're knitting. I have yet to do a lot of knitting. I would like to do some more knitting, but that just hasn't gotten into the cards yet, so. Anyway, there's that. I don't know if, sorry, my mind went blank. Must be time for a nap. Although lately I haven't been napping, so. I don't know what kind of crochet trends are out there lately. I just haven't really been looking to see. I do know that there is, with YouTube creators have the opportunity to see different trends that are going on. And that is not something I'm seeing. The only thing that I'm seeing for trends, one of the trends is, and I see this with a lot of sewing channels and certain crochet channels, and these are usually European creators, Russian creators, Polish, those kind of things, where they do these Turkish. I've seen Turkish as well, Indian, Indonesian, those kind of things, where it's all just you're watching what they're doing. Sometimes they have instructions on the screen, but they generally do this thing. I make 50 a day and sell them. Whether it's sewing, crochet, knitting, that kind of thing. And it's like, okay, I guess that works. I guess that's a trend. I don't know what kind of trend you would consider that, but it could be considered a trend. All right, had to take a few minutes to answer some of those texts, trying to get schedules done. Let's see, some of the other things I'm seeing in the news, of course, today. Last night, it's today for us because Israel's ahead of time for us. The 20 living hostages were returned to Israel. People in the streets were yelling, "Thank you, Mr. President," or "Thank you, President Trump," wearing MAGA hats, shirts, those kind of things, much to the chagrin of CNN. So if you watch CNN, you may have seen that where they were talking about that, and you could kind of tell that they were not pleased with that. And then, of course, President Trump addressed the Knesset, and there was a protester that was in there. I don't know if it was one of the member of their parliament or whatever they call their government entity. But he was escorted out pretty quickly, and I thought what was interesting is President Trump stopped speaking. You could hear someone calling for the security to remove them. The rest of the members in the Knesset began clapping, like to cover up the noise of the protester who was yelling and screaming things out. They did get him out pretty quickly, within probably less than 30 seconds or so. And then the person came back up and said, "I apologize, President Trump, for the whatever." And all he said in response to that was, "That was quick," because they did get him out and get rid of him, or this person. So that was interesting. And I don't know if you've seen the video with the unions with those family members. If you're like me, you're going to need a tissue because you can see the joy, that they have. Now, the one fellow that basically was being starved to death and forced to dig his own grave, I did not see video of him alive. That doesn't mean he's not alive, but he's probably in no condition, to walk. So that may have been a private meeting in the, in hospital room, that kind of thing with his family members. But yeah, it's just interesting to see. And the fighting has stopped in Gaza, sort of. You're going to be seeing the left tell you that the fighting has not stopped. However, what they're not going to let you know is Hamas is fighting with a rebel group there called Domas. I think that's how you pronounce it. And they are fighting in the streets, and they're killing one another in the streets. I saw a video where a woman said that Hamas is killing Gaza citizens. Well, I think that's Domas killing. battery change, one thing or another. So anyway, that was a killing between the two factions there. And there's quite a few other videos that are out there, being shot in the streets, those kind of things in Gaza. So if you're seeing that they're saying that the fighting is continuing, please be aware that it is not Israel and Gaza, Hamas that are fighting. It is two rebel factions there in Gaza who are, the Hamas is trying to overtake Hamas to rid Gaza of Hamas. And I don't think they're good guys either, but who knows, right? Let's see, some of the other things that I've seen. Even Gazans are praising President Trump for, getting this peace deal between them started. Hopefully they will both follow through all the two other phases to where there will be some true peace in that area. So there was a trying to remember the name of it. There was an operation that was carried out in Texas, rescued 20 children or 5 something children from an underground trafficking ring. 120 children were voluntarily reunited with their parents in their native lands, wherever that was. So, don't know much more than that. And of course, our government has identified the hundreds of billions of dollars going to some of these very left-wing Antifa groups, which they have nicknamed Riot Inc. It's a pretty good name. So, yeah. It's a lot that's happened this weekend. And then, of course, today is Columbus Day. And there's a lot of people that are going to have a hissy fit about Columbus Day. Because, what he did to the Indians, la 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 la. Well, he was running a Spaniard ship, and things were brutal back then. So, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot that he could do to stop the Spaniards from doing it. He was just commanding the ship. Doesn't mean they're going to follow his orders to stop doing what was being done. And from what I understand, the Italians in the country wanted a day to celebrate Christopher Columbus, and they got it, And then, of course, everybody tries to say he discovered America. No, he didn't. He discovered the West Indies, but I think it was it Claudius Americus who actually found the North American continent, discovered it, which is kind of what we're named after, America. So, I think that's his name. Don't quote me on that. It's been a long time since I remember reading about that and what he discovered versus what Christopher Columbus discovered. I read Christopher Columbus's diary or account of some of his exploration. I don't know if the man was bipolar, depressed, but I gotta tell you, reading his diary was so boring. Absolutely boring. I was assigned that by a teacher one year in high school for a book report, that I had to read out loud to the class. So, of course, I did do that. And while I was telling them about it, I said, I ended with, this book was extremely boring. I almost fell asleep while telling you about it. But if you really want something to put you to sleep instantly, I would read his journals. So, anyway. There's a lot to be discovered about America even today. Some of the history that gets twisted and thwarted. So that's always interesting to discover what the real meaning, the real truths are. We aren't always told the whole truths. So, yeah. I think that's kind of it that I found, other than, the shooting in South Carolina with 20 people being shot and 4 dead. It's just crazy. And then all the, homecoming shootings. They think that the fellow that they did capture, because one of those shootings at a homecoming, they did not capture the person who committed it. I think the fellow that did the Leland High School, I think they captured him, and they think that he did the other school shooting earlier at homecoming. But who knows why he did that. So, did watch a video this morning that had me giggling. It was a video interviewing a protester, asking them what they thought about the Gaza-Israeli peace deal. He said, well, I don't know, kind of sad. What am I going to do about getting money for my rent now? That's how I got money for my rent, or something like that. And it's like, oh my goodness. I mean, for years we have talked about that they were being paid. And yes, we do know there are many that are being paid. You can see the ads, not only on Craigslist, but a lot of places calling for protesters. And then when you show up, you're given information about what to say, what to yell, those kind of things. And some of these make anywhere from $200 a day to $1,500 to protest wherever they want them to protest. So it's not an organic thing completely. Now, unknown caller. Oh. Sorry about that, folks. So, and then of course, this coming weekend, there's the No Kings rally that is going on. Kind of curious what Chuck Schumer's going to state there at the D.C. one. Supposedly people are saying that he's not going to let any of the Democrats cross the aisle and vote for the continuing resolution until after the rally. So I guess we'll see, President Trump has found funds that he can turn around and pay for at least this next paycheck for our military to be used for that. Then he's taken some of the tariffs. Someone had said $200 billion, but it's actually $300 billion, or is it million? Might be million, to use towards women, infant, and children, commonly known as WIC, so that it will fund those programs. And I do know some of the states do have surpluses, and they usually hold those back so that they would still be able to use those funds for emergencies like this for government shutdowns. Some states are not allowed to do that, but some states have built it in that if they had a surplus, either there weren't enough women who had signed up for the funds to be used for WIC, that they could put those aside into a savings area so that they could use those times of emergency. So, which that's good for those states that have that program. But even still, that's a good thing, you know. And I've seen folks say that he can't do that. He has to go to Congress. No, he doesn't. It is perfectly okay for him to do that. This is past money that was appropriated, and there are certain funds that if it's not used, the president can direct it to go somewhere else at his pleasure. So, yes, he can pay for those troops' next paycheck. Now, I do think it's distasteful that the Democrats are having a fundraiser in the Napa Valley at a place where the rooms run anywhere from $900 to $1,500 a day. I would hope that that's coming out of their own pockets, not coming out of taxpayers' dollars, while they're raising funds for the Democrat Party. I mean, that just seems like one of those bad public things to do. So, I don't know. Crazy world, isn't it? But anyway, that's all I got today. I do need to get a move on and work in a different area today. Now, I think I've sat here long enough. Although, I can come back in the evening and sit and chit-chat. May do that, but for the time being, I need to move on to the next little slot in my time of the day to get done. So, I'm going to let you go for now, and I will see you tomorrow possibly. And in the meantime, everybody have a great evening. I hope it's not too wet where you are. We have that nor'easter that has come in to the east. So it's, it's a cloudy day. It's rainy. Kind of it. But hope your day is a little bit brighter. All right. See you guys soon. Bye. Ronan, are you helping me sort the papers? Yes, I really appreciate the help. Must you help so much?